I'm Javaris Gresham, an associate in the Atlanta office, and today we will hear from two Baker Hostetler attorneys who have incorporated intentional physical activity into their lives to contribute to their overall well-being. Veronica Reynolds is an associate in Los Angeles, and Eric Christensen is a partner in Houston. Veronica, what type of physical fitness activities do you prefer?
So I practice yoga and I'm a former yoga teacher. That's one of the activities I do. And I also make my best effort to go running every day. I find that both activities bring a lot of peace, calming, and mindfulness. I think the running really gets my cardio up and invigorates me. And I think really helps elevate my mood, while yoga and meditation help me bring my stress levels down, help me remain focused and kind of get in touch with some of those thoughts that are going on in the background in terms of my comprehensive well-being that don't always make it to the forefront with my busy work days.
So Eric, it seems like you're pretty active and you do quite a bit. Do you think that those physical activities play a part in your overall focus and productivity as a lawyer?
Oh, sure. I do think there's a bit of a creativity boost when I'm actually exercising. And one of the things that I've tried to incorporate sort of in my 40s is longer runs. I've been running a lot more sort of in my mid 40s than I did 10 years ago. And there's something about just going out for a long run, or if you went out for a long walk, you can kind of let your mind wander and, let the creative juices flow. And it's not uncommon for me to leave myself a little voice memo, from my iPhone, my iWatch, and try to remember things. I've thought of, arguments for summary judgment motions and questions to ask, during depositions. Those types of things pop into my head sort of at the strangest times. And then there's a real benefit to sort of the mental exercise of sticking with something. And I've felt like, sticking with fitness and just making that sort of a focus of my lifestyle. There's a mental aspect to that too. So, sticking with it, just the routine of it is really important. And then there's also a mental boost sort of from the social side. So if you're doing anything like yoga, like what Veronica does, or if you do a boxing class or a CrossFit class or really anything, there's a huge mental boost from just being around other people and having other people sort of rooting for you when you're doing your exercise.
And Veronica, have you also experienced that type of brain boost or creative boost associated with your physical activities?
Well, absolutely. And I wanted to actually touch on something Eric had mentioned, which is this idea of consistency. I think I've really incorporated that for me. And it might be a little bit of a product of being an associate, not always knowing when my work's going to come. And I know that that's probably true for partners as well, but just not always having control of the amount of work that I'm facing any given day or any given week, making the everyday aspect a habit, making that my consistency has been really important in carving out that time. I think when the pandemic started, it actually gave me an opportunity. The first week that it started, I had this feeling it was going to last for a while. And I realized, okay, I'm not commuting. This is the time where I have to make my run a daily activity. So for me, and I always tell people this, I just keep it simple. And a lot of times I go for a longer run, but my goal is a mile a day, about 5 or 6 days a week. And if I do the mile, I'm good. And if that's all I get, I feel like I made my very achievable goal. And like Eric, I'm a big fan of like the voice memos or sending myself an email because something kind of pops up. But at the same time, once I capture that idea through my voice memo or my email to myself, letting it go and saying consciously to myself, I'm letting this go. And now I'm back in the moment.
People have different levels of availability and physical ability. What advice would you give someone who would like to become more physically active? Veronica?
Generally, what I suggest to people is just start really small so you can do something that you can show up for. And then over a period of time, what I usually find is that that practice starts to expand a little bit and you start seeing the benefits.
I'd encourage people, find something that motivates you, whether it's, drawing inspiration from somebody else that who is a different level of fitness, or a son or a daughter who are more active and you want to spend more time around them, or even like something as simple as watching a movie about sports that sort of gets you off your couch just that one time and gets you out the door. Well, that starts your habit, and I would tell you whatever it takes to get you off the couch, that's a good thing. Get off the couch, get out there and get started.